What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of the podcast, where Chad is trying to finish a YouTube video.
Yeah. Not that it'll do me any good, but trying to finish a YouTube video.
Why wouldn't it do you any good?
I don't know. I still don't know what I'm doing. How to upload this stuff.
Like 60 people watched my video of us blowing a tire on the highway.
I watched it today, actually, on my big screen.
I watched it.
62 people, motherfuckers.
How much money does that give you?
Zero money.
Oh.
Just like everything I do.
Okay.
Everything I do gives me zero money.
Everything. All day.
So here's the current part of my life. So Jack calls me and says, hey, we can get this parking lot extra. We got to tear up this parking lot and we got to pave it. And I thought, sounds pretty reasonable. He's like, yeah, it's going to be great. It's great. It'll be great. He prices it. We get it. We start tearing up the parking lot. I have minimized in my brain the amount of time and effort it takes to tear up a 60,000 square foot parking lot and repave it and excavate part of it and haul it away and bring in gravel and then fine grade this fucking thing because there's no catch basins and it's a half kilometer to where it has to drain on 1%. So first problem was I wasn't really sure what we were doing other than tearing up asphalt and repaving it. So the first problem is that I didn't really investigate what was going on. The second problem is this is like $180,000 extra on the job. And I thought, that's cool. 180 grand. But in my brain, for some reason, I thought it was like free. Like a free 180,000 was going to fall from the fucking sky because it was an extra.
I've been there.
And now I'm experiencing over the last few days this awakening that we took this parking lot because I've also been obsessed for the last 2 years of, getting back to zero and righting the ship and getting the finances right. And I thought this is somewhere where we could make a little bit of extra pocket change before we go into the winter and we can right the ship and get our finances to where we need them to be. But all that happened was I concluded from this entire experience that we need a GPS stick if we're going to do 60,000 square foot parking lots on a 1% grade. So whatever money we would have made on this parking lot, we quickly bought a $25,000 GPS stick yesterday. For
buy once, cry once, though.
Yeah, but it's not accomplishing the goal of getting back to zero and righting the ship. We're going to have
it just defers it. Of course, it helps. You never have to buy another $20,000 GPS stick again unless you run this one over.
I hope not.
Well,
would be my hope that we never have to buy it again. But I am excited about the GPS stick because I feel like our biggest client, our second biggest client, we bought the same stick they have, so the files are transferable. Because right now they give us a lot of smaller jobs. We do a lot of stuff, say between 60 and 10,000 for them. But I think they hopefully might give us some bigger work if we can share files and they know that we have precision layout. So I think it's going to open up a new world for that. Also, after being at this parking lot for one day, I concluded that someone real needs to survey it. My scale ruler and my piece of paper is not going to do this for me. So it costs $3,000 for someone to come survey the parking lot properly. But the comparative of me scaling it wrong and fucking it all up, that cost could be, 25, 40,000. So the $3,000 to me is a wise investment to know we're on point. But
Definitely.
as we were spending the $3,000 on that, I thought that's if we had our own GPS stick, we wouldn't have needed any of this shit. So we bought a GPS stick.
Congratulations.
It's not like getting a truck. Like I feel like if you're in the commercial landscaping business, you know what it means to have your own surveying stick.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like I think you have a better, but like it just, I don't know. I'm like,
Here's the thing. I could have the stick, but it would mean absolutely nothing to me unless I had someone who could use it. Because me
so
just having the stick does nothing for me. I'm useless when it comes to this technology.
they're gonna train. They're gonna train. Part of getting the stick is two people get trained how to use it, and it won't be me.
Jack and
Well, Jack already knows how to use it.
oh,
It's fucking Jack.
it's Jack. Yeah.
He's the one that picked out the stick and told us what to buy. You think I went and fucking
What
selected
did you get? A con top or a
No, it's Carlson.
Carlson? What is it? A baseball bat?
No, so after investigating with people, what a lot of these things are like crazily expensive, but they all kind of do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is the same as our big client has. So all of their staff know how to use it. So if we have any questions, we could always call them and be like, "Hey, what the fuck's going on with this thing?"
That's important. Yeah.
And so if you want a TopCon or a Trimble, they're like usually between 40 and 60,000.
Yeah.
And this one basically Jack went through it. It basically does all the same stuff for 25.
Can you screw this one to your excavator or your bulldozer? No.
No, it's just I'm sure if you wanted to, you could buy that stuff from them to put it on the excavator and the bulldozer.
Yeah.
But I feel like on this job, it became apparent to me that 99% of our loss in production is literally because people are unsure of what they're doing. Not because they're lazy, not because they're not good people, not because they're fucking around. It's literally only because they're not 100% sure of what they're doing. And if you have the stick, you can be 100% sure that that's the corner of the parking lot and 100% sure that that's the grade. And I think that will increase production easily enough to pay for the stick pretty quickly, because I really feel like our guys are all good, but when they're faced with something that they don't 100% understand what's going on, it just grinds production to a halt because they're too scared to make a mistake.
Yeah. I think that's true even on residential. Like I can hardscape twice as fast as my best guy because there's no second guessing anything. I know what I need to do, right? But as soon as you give the instruction to someone else and they're not in complete control, there's, even if they know what they're doing, there's still some hesitation. Is this what the boss wants? Right.
I agree with you.
So yeah, it's great that you got that for the guys.
So next question will be, do we need one for both crews?
Do you get a package deal if you get more than one?
Well, Jack also picked up a bunch of extra sidewalk and curbs on this job. So we got to lay all that out too, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to pay this survey guy endlessly to do this. So, and what if the survey guy, you pay 3,500, he sets all the stakes and then someone runs them over?
You know what else it would be good for? After they do your locates on the job, you go around and peg all your locates. So after you lose all the paint marks and all the flags and shit, you can go and mark them back yourselves.
That's a fucking great idea.
Yeah, we're doing this big roundabout job in our city, and there's all these trees where I didn't know there were trees going. And I asked the GC, I'm like, can I ride your locates package? They're like, yeah, no problem. I'll get you a set printed and everything. I called him back today. I said, can we get everything refreshed, like paint on everything. He's like, like they might not want to come out and do that. He's like, but we have it all on GPS. We'll just mark out where the trees go, and if anything conflicts, then we'll move shit around. Like perfect. So I mean, it doesn't negate the fact that if you hit something, it's still your fault, but it gives a good peace of mind.
It certainly limits the fact, like limits the.
Yeah.
I feel like, although the GPS stick is not a way that I would normally want to invest $25,000, I feel like it'll take us to another level.
Yeah.
Like being able to, even for like all, not just our one client, but for all our clients, being able to GPS locate our own stuff and lay it all out and make sure it's on great. Like we're bidding a parking lot, that parking lot at our university client, we were bidding that, and like there's no real plan. So like we could GPS it ourselves and say, okay, this is what we're planning on, this is how it's going to fall, this is how it's going to work, and send them the file. And that way when it's done, they can't dispute it. They can either agree to the file or disagree, right? Like I feel like it's going to cut down on a lot of like that kind of stuff too, where someone says, oh, like this parking lot we're doing right now, I bet it's the better part of half of a kilometer draining on a 1% slope to nothing, to a field. There's no catch basins, there's no curbs, there's nothing. So I feel inevitably it's going to hold water somewhere. It's 1% for half a kilometer. Now I know it's asphalt, but still.
Yeah.
But if you have a GPS stick, you can literally put it down and say, that's the point you wanted. That's the point you wanted. It's not working because your drawings are fucked.
Yeah. Like we work with a big they're asphalt contractors, but they also own quarries and all this shit, right? So whenever they do big parking lots and stuff, and they have sitting water after, and they're going around and talking about deficiencies and stuff, so apparently you take a quarter, and if the water covers the quarter or something like that, then it's considered a deficiency. Like if it's a puddle, and then they'll just credit you, right? Because they're not going to go and regrade the whole parking lot. They're just going to give them a credit for that portion, the square footage where the water sits, and that's going to be it. So I
like
doubt you
that
can get away
system.
with that doing interlock, but
Oh, fuck no.
Could you imagine? You got a little bit of sitting water here. I'll credit you low 20s per square foot.
Low 20s. This is what you get for low 20s, bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Today, so Jack called me and he's like, hey man, the client's concerned. At the parking lot job, because there's a bunch of other work we were supposed to do, and then got this parking lot as an extra in the middle of it. And they were like, parking lot's the priority. So we started working on the parking lot because obviously the asphalt plants are going to close this November. It's like, yeah, the client's kind of concerned. I said, Jack, so am I. I agree with the client. I am fucking concerned too. I am really, really, yeah, they are rightfully concerned because for some reason, well, the three guys that are up there working with me, they just have never done anything on this scale. Like they've never done, like tried to, it's a big parking lot, right? And so I think the three of them are lost. So it's really me grading a 60,000 square foot parking lot by myself. And then trying to teach them how to do it while I do it and not be annoyed and angry. And then the client's concerned. I'm like, I'm fucking concerned too. We should have never taken this extra. This is a huge mistake. It's huge. And the guy who's paving the parking lot has come 3 times and said, hey man, I'm a bit concerned. I'm like, me too, Carmen. I'm also fucking concerned. This is not going well. Like it's all very concerning. On top of that, so there's a bunch of work that's getting ignored while we fuck around with this parking lot, which by the end of the day today, I think that I also haven't done anything like this in a long time where someone else didn't do all the layout and I just hit the stakes. So by the end of the day today, I felt like I was back in a rhythm, and the foreman, Bill, he came to me and said, I feel like today's going better. I'm like, yes, because you people are learning things. I don't have to stop the machine every 30 seconds and be like, the top of asphalt is there and the top of asphalt is there. Do not pull the string between top of asphalt and top of B gravel. That fucks it all up. You have to go from top of asphalt to top of asphalt. Like, anyway,
You're doing a kilometer of
no, I'm trying to get the grip.
string, or is it just a visual for the guys to?
No, because part of it is small, and the part of it we had to. There's part of it. It's a long, thin parking lot, so it's a parking lot that's only got enough room for one car parked on either side and a driveway in the middle.
Okay.
So it's long and thin. So if you have pins in the center, you can just pull down to the pins and you can grade it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But the end of it was all brand new parking lots. So we had to excavate it down 55 and then build up the B gravel, then build up the A gravel, then do final grade. So that end of the parking lot is a bit, the rest of it is literally strip it, regrade it, put it on grade to the pins. And that part of it, I think, will be, I don't want to say it'll be easy now because I thought the other part would be pretty easy and it hasn't been. So I don't want to jinx the other part of it now. But it's just, it's not a long distance. The whole thing is probably only 30 feet wide. So if you can go to the edges and pull a string, maybe it's more than 30 feet, maybe it's 40. Anyways, it's not wide, it's long. And so we've just been using a string to have a guide, not everywhere, but to get the fall. I don't remember why I was talking about this with the string. Anyways, he said to me, things are getting better. And I'm like, yeah, well, because you guys have some idea what the fuck we're doing now. So things are getting better. Yes. But for myself too, I started to get lost because I haven't done it in a long time. And now there's usually someone with a GPS stick that fucking lays everything out everywhere we go. We don't usually do like a shit ton of layout with I will say, I also do not like working from a phone.
No.
Or an iPad. I need a big set of drawings so I can see the whole job and get a scope of what's going on. So yesterday I had just Bill's phone. So Bill's phone is not that big. And so I expanded it and I had no way to scale it or anything. So there probably is a way. I just don't technologically know how to do it.
With your phone, it sucks regardless.
So I said, okay, this is the stake where the swale starts. So I literally just looked at the drawing and then pasted off and stuck the fucking stake in the ground where I thought it would go. Like 100%. I'm doing this based on my experience and where I think this stake should go. And then there was another stake where the swale turns. And again, I looked at the drawing and said, yep, this is where the stake goes. Hammer this bitch in here. So today when we had a real drawing, I scaled, because Kelly got them printed for me. So I scaled it all and measured it out. And one stake was off 3 inches and one stake was off 4 inches to where they should have been.
Nice.
And I literally randomly picked the spots and hammered them in from looking at Bill's cell phone.
Wow.
Yeah. Bill was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time, man, without the proper tools. I'm a landscaper. I've never had the proper tools in my life. From day one, I never had what I actually needed. So Jack's calling me. He's saying, hey, man, the client's concerned. I'm saying, I'm concerned too. The other crew is about to start a fair-sized residential job. The bathroom's there. We've floated all the equipment there. I'm looking around the job site in Barrie, and I'm like, we need the other crew here. We have to form a mega crew. This is our most important, one of our most important clients. We have a whole shit ton of work for them to do next spring. I don't want to piss them off right now. We have to form a mega crew. So I got on the phone to Nancy Green. I said, aren't you meeting the residential client today to pick out the final colors? She said, I am. I said, I don't care what you have to say. I don't care what you need to do. You tell them it's better if they do this fucking job in the spring. Because I need the crew.
I need the
She's-
crew.
She's like, "Are you going to hold the price?" I said, "I will hold the price." She said, "Okay." Then there was like this tense. She was meeting at 1 o'clock, and you're just waiting for Nancy Green to call because you like, if Nancy Green can't tell this client that it's better if we wait till the spring, which I honestly think at this time of year for a backyard job with 40-inch access, it probably is legitimately better if they wait till the spring because I think it's going to be a mess. The call came through at 1:32 in the afternoon. It was Nancy Green. She shut it down. I was like, fuck yeah, Nancy. But we had already floated the equipment there and the fucking bathroom was there and everything. So I called. Like, that's how close we were to like, and if we had started that job, I know my life would have been fucked. My life is fucked anyways, but it would have been mega fucked. Like mega fucked up if we had started that job. So I called the Ross. I go, "Ross." He goes, "Yeah." "So you know that equipment you just floated that job?" It's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Go get it and bring it back to the yard." It's like, "What are you talking about? I just got it all there." I said, "Bro, I fucked up, man. I'm 50. I'm going to own it. I fucked up. We took way too much work. We're totally fucked. These people are nice. I think they're going to get a better result in the spring too because the weather will be better. And I think they're going to get better plant selection. I think there's a whole bunch of things that will make their job better by doing it in the spring. And but I fucked this up. But I think it's the closest I've ever come to saving a fuck up. I mean, the equipment was there. The bathroom was delivered. The guys are on the schedule to be there tomorrow. And I pulled the fucking rug out from under it all.
That's a decision you have to make sometimes.
Yeah. It's the closest. I think if we had started that, then because we're also going to Jamaica in 10 days. Just throw that into the mix of all the shit that's going on.
Oh, well, I don't have any sympathy for you there.
I picked this time because normally November for us is starting to slow down a bit, and I can't go during snow.
Yeah.
Like I can't go after November 15th because if it snows, it's chaos if I'm not around. To like not because we're plowing snow, but the moving of snow for us it's a lot of scheduling and work and phone calls, and a lot of times if we're moving snow, sometimes I'm gone for 48, 72 hours straight because you can't find other people to drive or that aren't as stupid as I am. So so November is usually the best time for us to go because it's sort of before snow. And I think now that the crews are going to be forming the mega crew, I think things will, and the GPS stick will come and Jack will know how to use it at least. And also, when we go away, Jack's around. So, he can help them. And our phones will be on. But yeah, I think that's the closest I've come to ultimate disaster in my life and reeled it back in. I feel like it's ballsy to deliver the equipment to a site and yank it off.
I was just thinking that in the toilet too, even. Client sees all that show up and they're ready for it to start the next day and it's gone.
Nancy Green shows up and says, "This is not happening."
That's great.
To be fair to that client, they originally wanted it to be done in the spring. And at the time, we didn't have a shit ton of work. And so I kind of gave a little bump to do it in the fall. But to be fair, the client always wanted it done in the spring and I always thought they'd get a better result if it was done in the spring. So I don't think it was a hard sell by Nancy to say, "Hey, we're going to do this in the spring." Because there's a whole bunch of fencing that has to come out. There's a whole bunch of shit that has to happen. So that was going to be chaos too. Yeah. Today, it started pouring rain. And today was the first day that I knew it was over. My brain has been living in denial because it's been so nice and dry and not raining and not super shitty for all of October. I have been living in brain denial. And, Even last weekend, people were like, oh, it's supposed to be 20, 25 next week, man. It's going to be gorgeous. I just felt like it was going to go on forever. And then today, it was absolutely pissing, freezing cold rain. And we just couldn't afford to shut it down. So we just kept going
Right.
in the absolute pissing rain. It was great for compaction, though. The compaction girl was amazed. We have a compaction testing person who's a Caucasian female driving a Ford Fusion
Uh-oh. Underqualified.
with purple hair.
Underqualified if I ever saw it.
Yeah, I was like, you don't have a Corolla? Get the fuck off the site.
With purple hair.
Yeah, she's super nice.
It's very
Yeah,
liberal of her.
compaction people, she sat there all day and at the end of the day got out of her Ford Fusion and checked the compaction on the B gravel in 6 different places and then left. It's like, that's a day.
That's a day. Wow.
That's a day. That was her day. How
We
much do
had
they?
Go ahead.
It occurred to me while she was sitting there the whole time doing nothing. I was like, this is why construction is so expensive. People
Yeah.
say, why is construction so expensive? Like, because there's a person sitting in a Ford Fusion for the whole day.
Yeah.
Doing nothing so they can get out for 8 minutes at the end of the day and test the compaction.
We're compacting behind that big wall that we're doing. It has to be checked every 40 feet or something like that. And we have our compaction guy is named Bootsy. And he's either white or Native American, long hair, not sure what kind of car he drives, but he informed us that we were over compacting in some areas. So got to watch that over compaction behind the wall too.
What is he attempting to find? 98% proctor density?
Yeah. Between it has to be below 104. And in some spots we're getting like 109, which is a
Need to
problem.
buy cheaper compactors.
Uh yeah, but we got a big diesel packer on site just sitting there. But then the guys get bored and they just want to run it, right? Because that's the laziest job there is on site is to run the packer, and all they want to do is back and forth on the line. Because if they're doing that, then they don't have to do something else, not realizing that they're over compacting. And we don't
and
want that.
causing chaos.
Yeah.
Do you have water there?
Yeah. We got the hydro seeder there, and we're just watering with the hydro seeder.
Nice. That's a
Although
good
that's going
use
to
of the
come to
hydro.
it. What's that?
That's nice use of the hydro seeder. I like
It
that.
is. It's we value engineered the watering on that job because my water truck's not ready. We raw dogged 22 pallets of sod today with no water truck, with the anticipation that it was going to rain tonight,
Is it
and
raining?
it's raining right now. Thankfully. I'm like 10 to 15 mils overnight. I'm like, we have no water truck. There's no way out of this. I know it's not going to die because it's end of October. So the sod probably won't die. It probably won't shrink, but it's not gonna like not getting watered, right? So like, yeah, send the sod. We'll figure it out. Either it rains or
How far out is the water truck?
uh so they're fabricating. Bernie, she took the piece off, brought the gasket in to go get it replicated, then lost the piece, right? So I'm like, I'm not fucking around with this anymore, Bernie. We were at Crane. They couldn't get the part because the guy got fired 2 weeks ago, and then nobody knew about the order that he was supposed to make. So I brought it all to the fab shop. I said, just make me this piece. I'm like, sure, no problem. And then this afternoon they text me they needed some more measurements. I said we should have it done real soon. But then the tank still has to be purged, right? We haven't run a tank of water through it yet, so it's still full of diesel. One of the guys said, we should add fertilizer to the water before
Oh
we
my
spray it.
God.
And I just thought, what if he got up there and put a bag of fertilizer in that water tank before it was cleaned out? There would be an explosion from me to you. Like, it shook me to my core. I'm just like, we're never, ever, ever dumping fertilizer into somewhere that you don't know it's perfectly clean.
So, were you gonna fill it with palm olive or something and wash it out?
Yeah, I went to Costco and I bought like a big 4 liter jug of dish soap, and we're just gonna pour that down the throat of the water tank and then fill her up until suds come out the top.
I'm assuming somewhere on your property you're gonna release this mixture.
Not at liberty to say.
You should do it while you're burning the plastic eggs.
Yeah, legal under compression.
I'm not at liberty to say where this is gonna happen.
Yeah, there'll be
It's gonna
signs, but
be so- as behind the wall, they're spraying the sudsy mixture, compacting. This won't be over compacted. It's got a lot of what do you call it?
Lubricant.
Lubricant. That's lots of lubricant.
that wall is right beside the St. Lawrence River, so
Oof.
we won't be putting it in there.
Well, don't they just evacuate Montreal's sewage into the river or something?
Probably, but that's further downstream, right?
Mm.
The sewage won't come upstream.
They're probably testing it right at the border.
Yeah.
So do boats go through there?
Yep. Absolutely.
Like huge boats or?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Real big boats.
Like the kind of boats you could get shanghaied on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they have Chinese writing on the side and everything.
Oh, you could so get shanghaied into the bottom of one of those boats.
Cornwall, yeah. You want to hear a funny story? One of my guys told me. Murray's really French, right? He's the cowboy, the one who used to be a stripper. He told me this story yesterday. He used to drive semi-truck, and he was on his first run in America from Quebec, where he's from, and his English is broken. Like he can speak English, but it's broken English. And it was before they had GPS, and all they had was maps, right? He pulled over, asked some guy, how do I get to this spot? He was going to someplace in Pennsylvania, according to him. Um, and the guy's like, oh yeah, easy, no problem. Just go up the road and turn at the satellite. Turn left at the satellite. Okay, no problem. Great. He's like, that how much easier could it be? All I have to do is look for the big satellite. So he's driving for half an hour and he's like, what the fuck? There's no satellite around here. And then he's thinking, oh fuck, he meant set of lights. Not so he's been driving for half an hour,
Looking for the satellite.
looking for the satellite instead of the satellites. Like, I love that story. We're gonna repeat that one.
How much do you think an EGR valve costs for a T595 to buy? This is just to buy it.
Just the valve?
The EGR valve. It's an EGR valve. Whatever the assembly of an EGR valve is, what do you think it costs to purchase that?
It can't be more than $500.
Mike?
I wouldn't even know where to start. I'll say 250.
I'll tell you, if you need an EGR valve for your T595, it's $3,500.
What?
Wow.
It's only because you need it that it's $3,500.
And then when it first happened, Brad was like, I think I might have to pull the motor out to replace it. I was like, oh my fucking God.
What? What does the EGR valve do?
It controls the emissions. So the machine's like,
But it's
so the first day they were of the parking lot, that's been a shit show. The guys call me and they say, hey, there's something wrong with the skid steer. I said, oh, okay. And what's wrong? They're like, oh, it's flashing this code. They say it's some emissions shit. Oh no. But the EGR valve put the skid steer into D rate.
Right.
So I got it. So anyways, yeah, there's no you have to replace the EGR valve. Brad found a way to not pull the motor out of it. Um so and luckily I have an account at R Havry Landscaping, so I just finished paying off my R Havry Landscaping account. So I was, hey man, do you have an extra skid steer kicking around that I can use for a week? Well, because also, although I would say the T595 is one of the most popular and frequent models of skid steer there is, you see them everywhere all the time. There's no EGR valves for them anywhere in Ontario.
Oof.
So it takes a week to get this thing.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like
There's no,
why are there none of these around?
well, I think I think that, Bobcat as a corporation just, or maybe all corporations, maybe not, they just don't carry parts stock anymore
Hmm.
or something. I don't know. I like maybe EGR valves, maybe I'm just lucky mine blew up.
I thought because it was what, a tier 4 or something that they didn't have emissions shit on them.
So mine's a 19, so it must have this emission shit on it.
So mine would have had it too. I had a 2018, I think.
I don't know what year it is.
I
The
don't know.
one Rob's machine that we have is a T650 and it's older and it says tier 4 on the side of it.
I don't know. I'm not up to date on what means what. It doesn't take depth though, your machine?
No, it doesn't take DEF.
Yeah,
No,
mine
our
either.
machine doesn't take DEF.
Hmm.
So we're
Well,
also Rob has this little roller that we borrow from him all the time. It's like a double drum vibrating compacting roller, which is perfect for the parking lot. And so we have that and the skid steer, which are fully wrapped. It looks like Rob Havry's doing this parking lot in Barrie. Like if someone came, it's all the equipment is anything of mine that's there has no branding or no other than my pickup truck, which was and my dump trucks. My dump truck's been there. Our triaxle was there yesterday, and the bin truck was there yesterday, and the triaxle was there all day today. So our triaxle got somehow the license plate broke in half on the back of the truck, and so today Andrew got pulled over on the 407 by MTO, and the guy said, "Hey, I can't see your license plate properly. You need to swap the front to the back." And but I'm not doing an inspection or giving you a ticket. I just wanted you to know your license plate is fucked up.
Wow.
So Andrew said, "Thanks, man. I'll fix that right away." And he did when he got back to the yard. So
hmm. Wow. Lucky guy. Lucky you.
Yeah.
lucky me, yeah. Well, and also because they have to register every time they pull you over. So we
Hmm.
got registered as a pulled over and no fines again. So that's good. It's good for our MTO record.
Well, I had to update all our little cards every year. The CVR has to be updated.
Yeah, you have to renew the CVR.
So I cut out a whole bunch of sheets and then we send them to get laminated. That little card so they can put it in their visor. If they ever get pulled over.
Oh, I have a accordion file thing
Yeah.
and everything is labeled CVOR. And then all our trailers, you have to have the insurance for every trailer you might tow in the trucks, right? So I have like dump trailer one, dump trailer two, flat trailer one, flat trailer two, tool trailer one, tool trailer two, because they all have their own separate fucking insurance card. So the pickups have like, I don't know, because they have the insurance card and ownership for the pickup. Then they have the ownership and insurance for every trailer we fucking own.
Yeah, I gotta fix that this winter. Mine are all over the place. Are they, do you have the actual green slips or do you have
No,
photo?
we photocopy them.
Someone told me you couldn't do that. I'm like, sure you can. Like, it doesn't make sense that you'd have all your trucks with their actual green slips in them,
So the big, like the 30-ton trailer actually has a thing on it to hold the paperwork.
like a tube.
Yeah, it's like a tube or
Gotcha.
whatever. But we only, those trucks only, there's only two trailers for those trucks. So I have them photocopies of the ownerships and the accordion thing. It's all labeled. That way, if they get pulled over, they can just hand it to the guy.
Yeah, go nuts.
Go nuts, buddy. It's all there.
Well, there.
So, um, yeah, so we got pulled over, but we managed to skirt away safely. So that was a good day.
Have to fight another day.
We live to fight another day. Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said something.
No. I'm just I'm tired.
I am tired as well. Driving back, the guys who are smart enough to stay in Barrie in the hotel are way smarter than me. Who pays for the hotel?
That's still
Like,
going good for you, the staying overnight?
yeah, I think that it makes a big difference for the guys. I think so I've been driving back and forth all week because again, I was like the client concerned. Um, so I've been there every day this week. Well, 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, and I'm tired from driving back and forth. It fucking sucks. I would way rather have gone back to the hotel and gone to bed. So at least this week, no one with an ankle monitor has tried to kill me. So that's a big improvement over last week.
I had an old employee reach out. He was only with us for like a month or something. He's like, "Hey, I used to work for you." He's like, "I left for some personal shit." He's like, "Can we get together and talk sometime after 6 o'clock one day?" I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And I remembered him. Like, oh yeah, he was he was very religious. Not that that's a bad thing, but the guys make a lot of gay jokes talking about, "Oh, you're gay," or you know, just banter between the landscape guys, right? On the crew. And he was very anti-gay. And
Hmm.
my guys joke around that one of them, Josh, he's a revolutionary. He goes both ways. So we cannot have anti-gay talk on the job site. So
Hmm.
I can't even entertain this guy coming back.
Why, like, how desperate are you if you're calling someone you worked a month for a few years ago?
That's it, right? Like, and he wasn't a bad guy. He wanted to learn, wanted to do a good job and all this stuff, but there was just little things like you're not gonna make it. You're not. There were hints before the end that he wasn't gonna make it. And who comes looking for a job in November? A landscaping job in November?
I only know one guy that took a landscaping job in November in all my years. It started in November, and he was so obviously you start in November, you're desperate, right?
Yeah, it gotta be.
So we're in a crew cab dump truck like yours, dump truck crew cabs, 1 tons, whatever you want to call them. And we were planting islands in the middle of the road. So we got pylons on both sides, whatever, we're working on the islands. Break comes, he's the new guy. I'm sitting in the front seat actually with Andrew, who's driving our blue dump truck now. This is like 20 years ago this happened too. I'm sitting with Andrew and this guy's in the back, and I look in the rearview mirror and the guy's like he's like looks like he's rolling a joint. I know you can't see that, like I'm moving my hands, but he's got his hands together and he's rolling something in rolling papers. I'm like, this guy has got balls. Like, this is pre-legalization of weed, like long pre-legal. This guy shows up day one and he's rolling his own joint right in the back of the truck. I turn around and I go, yo, bro, like, you can't smoke that in here. Like, Get the what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just rolling my own cigarettes to save money. The guy's smoking unfiltered hand rolled cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
We are at another level of people who need a job. So he worked the 5 or 6 weeks, got laid off, came back the next spring,
Hmm.
and he we kept talking about, he's coming. A guy started with us that had been around for a long time, and we kept talking about this other guy that was coming back. He's coming back. He's coming back. So he comes back, and this guy is like, the guy coming back with that had only worked the 6 weeks in the fall is short, and he's kind of, well, I don't know what he's like now, but he's kind of like fat and short. And he comes waddling out of the truck towards the job site, and this guy Kaz turns and looks at me and goes, "The like, fucking, you tell me this guy's coming. He's a fucking penguin. Look at this guy, the penguin. You stupid penguin. You can't do anything. You're a penguin." And I was like, oh my God. And from then on, everyone called this guy the penguin for like 5 years. And his last name was uh Stukenbrock. And so everyone used to call him Stuck in Park because he was slow at everything. Come on, Stuck in Park, you stupid penguin. Horrible way this person was treated now when you look back on it. Like, oh my God. At the time, it was fine. He was stuck in park, stupid fucking penguin.
We had
Have
this
I? Sorry, go ahead.
we had this guy. He worked for us for a bit, I think year before last or something like that. And he was fat and stupid. And like we filled up a wheelbarrow for him and we said, take this to the truck and like dump it in the mini and then we'll put it in the dump truck or whatever, right? And he didn't get the concept. So he wheeled the wheelbarrow out of the backyard and just like down the road in the subdivision. And Gord's like, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, I gotta find some place to dump this. And it's like I said, like there's no empty fields or any, not that it's okay to dump in an empty field, but there's no space anywhere for this guy to dump this wheelbarrow, right? It's like, what the fuck? Some people just have no common sense. Like, I just have to find somewhere to dump this. And you're like, I don't know. I thought it was common sense, but
Gotta find somewhere to dump this.
like, a random wheelbarrow. It was probably like half cured sand or something like that, like that we pulled up some joints or something. I don't know. But hey,
Gotta, I'm gonna spend all day finding somewhere to dump this.
yeah.
My God.
And he like this is the same guy who like would pee, like go to the side of someone's house and start to pee. Like just it could be in the same subdivision, right? Like as long as he didn't think someone was looking, he would pee at the side of the house.
Like at
Like
the side of the client's house or the side of any of the houses?
any of the houses.
So this guy's wandering down the street with a half a wheelbarrow of dirt, looks around, doesn't see any ring cameras, and runs and takes a piss at the side of the house, then goes back to looking for somewhere to dump his dirt.
Oh, yeah. That's that type of guy, right?
That guy seems like a premium kind of employee. I can't believe he didn't hang on to that guy.
I know he came sweatpants and all, lasted a couple weeks. Always needed a so he was one of these guys who his mom would drive him to work in the morning. 35-year-old man, whatever. His mom would drive him to work in the morning. And she did deliveries for like a fucking pizzeria or something, right? But she wasn't even in the same town, right? Like she was 15 minutes east of Cornwall. So if some days we'd get off at like 4 or something, and he'd be like, hey, can I borrow someone's phone? I have to call my mom. So we'd call his mom from one of the guy's phones. I'm like, Mom, can you come and get me? And she'd be like, no, I have some deliveries to do. What the fuck, mom? I can't wait around all night. Like,
No.
like Jesus Christ, like this is your mother, first off. Second off, you're a 35-year-old man. You should have your own set of wheels by now. And he would always brag about, not brag about, he would always say, can't wait till I get paid. I'm gonna get a new Xbox.
Every week.
No, well, he's like, now I can finally afford the Xbox, right? And another week would come and he still couldn't afford the Xbox. So I don't know what he was doing with his money, but he was only there for like a month, but it
Did
only
you
takes,
fire him or did he quit?
um, oh, we got in trouble for that one because one of the guys yelled at him once and then he quit. He said he couldn't work for us anymore because of the toxic work environment or whatever.
Mm.
So we got scolded by whoever it was. And I'm just like, look at the guy's track record. Like, obviously, he can't hold a job. Is it us or is it him? You know? And the fucking liberals in the government are like, well, we have to take this very seriously because everybody has a right to feel safe at work. Like, yeah, you would fucking say that. So, anyway,
Why does everyone have a right to feel safe at work? If you don't feel safe at work, go work somewhere else.
I've not, from the time I was 17 starting landscaping to the time I was 26 when I started my own landscape company or something. There's not a day that I felt safe at work. I was always getting yelled at, whether I was doing a good job or a bad job. I was riding things that I shouldn't have been riding. I was operating things that I shouldn't have been operating. Like there wasn't a safe day at work. And now everybody needs to feel safe at work.
So who scolded you? Like the government?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you have to pay the guy?
No. They said, oh, we're gonna, 'cause it was all about him getting his, because if you get fired,
You don't get unemployment,
you don't get unemployment. But if you
get laid off.
get laid off, you do. And I'm like, well, I don't care what you do with the guy. Like, this is just what happened, right? And then they sent me a letter a couple months later. They said, oh, we're siding with him and he's gonna get his unemployment.
Wow.
Great. Why do I even care? Like, what does it matter to me if the guy gets his unemployment? I don't give two shits. Like, you wasted time sending me that letter. It doesn't mean anything.
Thanks for letting me know that this guy's getting unemployed.
Yeah, great. He can afford his Xbox now. What do you want me to? Could have saved a step and just given him the Xbox instead of the money. I don't know.
Part in Wedding Crashers when that guy's like, Mom, bring the meatloaf. Guy's like,
That's
Mom,
this
come
guy.
pick me up. Mom, where are you? Treated
He
him.
was yelling at his mom. It's
We-
not the first time I've had someone yell at their mother in my landscape company. We did
Really?
this other job for this guy that I went to high school with, and it was early on. We were probably like 4 or 5 years into the business or whatever, and they bought these two pallets of patio slabs, and we were talking about how we're gonna lay them and stuff. They just needed help putting these fucking patio slabs down. And the guy that I went to high school with was trying to tell me how he wanted it done, and then his mom was telling me how she wanted it done, and they were talking over each other. And the guy that I went to high school with goes, Mom, shut up, Mom. I'm trying to talk to the landscapers. Like, people tell their mom to shut up. Like,
Shut up, Mom.
it was
Bring
only
the,
after
bring the meatloaf.
bring the meatloaf. It was only after the fact that we laid all the slabs and then washed them off and realized that a pallet of spray paint had exploded all over one corner of the slabs. And so every way that they were laid would have like a different corner of white on it,
Oh my God.
but we didn't buy the material, so I
You
didn't say
just,
anything. I was like, not my problem.
I'm only here to lay this
I'm only
material.
here to lay this shit, grade it and
I
lay it.
take no fucking ownership over this
Yeah,
shit.
absolutely.
So only because you brought up pizza delivery. We had this guy when this is a long time ago. We had this guy who worked for us and he used to do pizza deliveries at night. And he was so he had like a tiny little hatchback car, like a Chevette or something, because this is a long time ago, some kind of little hatchback car. So he'd work all day in the landscaping, and then he would jump in the car and he would go to Pizza and do deliveries for Pizza. But that's when Pizza used to have those double boxes. Do you remember you could get like the double box and it was two pizzas in one box? They were
No.
big, long box. Anyways, they were big, long boxes. So they wouldn't fit into the car. So he removed one of the seats so that he could get these big pizza boxes into
That's
the car
dedication.
to
Oh,
do more pizza deliveries. But he never went home. So he would work Monday, then Tuesday he'd work till 2 a.m. delivering pizzas, and he would drive to the yard and sleep. And this would go on forever for the whole week. And then he didn't have any food. So he started collecting all the pizza slices that were left over at the end of the day. And so in the car, there'd be pizza slices, and it was wild. This guy living in this car, landscaping by day, delivering pizzas by night, eating the leftover slices in the middle.
was the money that bad from landscaping?
I think sometimes periodically, people who are landscaping may have made poor financial decisions before they started landscaping.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
odd time. Yeah. There's what they, I understand the concept of the software for the companies. I understand it. You got some software, it helps you bid jobs. What landscaping actually needs is software for the employees to take care of their personal
The
finances.
budget.
That's revolutionary.
That's the real problem with landscaping. That, Mike, you need to expand into creating budgets for your employees' personal finances so that you don't end up in a situation where a guy you've lent some money to has an ankle monitor, and then you take his last paycheck to pay back his bill, to pay back his money, and he still owes you some money past that, and then he threatens to fucking like come and get you over this because you collected your own money back. If I had my employees had budgeting software, none of that would have happened. They would know when it's the right time to buy an Xbox.
Yikes.
You don't see that taking off, Mike?
We could do that. That would be pretty easy.
Employee budgeting software, personal
People
finance budget.
within the headquarters software, we could allow employees to create their own budgets for their own personal finances. Pretty easy.
You should put it as an option. I think you'd be the only one.
Yeah.
I thought of this today. I want to have like a big clock at the back of the shop, but instead of the time, it shows the total bonus allotment for everybody for the year. And every time they break something or lose something, or like today I had to go buy a fucking box of blades for knives because they lost the box that they had yesterday. Along with
Lost a whole box.
yeah, they lost a whole box of blades. Along with the 8 knives that I have given them in the past
So
3 weeks.
basically, what you're saying is that your company, they woke up in the morning and tried to create a fertilizer truck bomb, and then they randomly lost an entire box of sharp knives. Like, the fuck is going on at
I've got
NBL?
Al-Qaeda
Maybe
working for me.
Maybe
Like,
they thought to dump the knives in the diesel tank and switch it
No,
around to scrape out the sides and stuff, right?
maybe they put them in there for shrapnel.
Yeah.
Shrapnel, yeah.
Yeah. So I want this giant doomsday clock at the back of the shop that just shows the money going down for everything that I have to rebuy over the course of the season.
Doomsday clock. I like that.
They have
What do,
nobody playing with themselves.
what do you think you spend in random tools to rebuying per
$5,000,
year?
at least 5 grand.
How
A
many
year?
tape measures do you guys go through in a year?
Oh my God, $800 in tape measures.
Yeah.
Like not even joking. Like
Who do you blame when tape measure goes missing, Mike?
I blame anybody but myself.
Fucking homeowner stole my tape measure. I would say that we go through probably the same 5 grand worth of shit a year that should probably not go missing or needs to be replaced.